Welcome to a new update. Markets are still correcting, not showing strength. We're going to discuss the dollar, we're going to discuss Bitcoin, and we're also going to have a slight look towards Litecoin, as Litecoin has been correcting heavily while the markets have been anticipating a big breakout to the upside, which took place, but right now we are correcting and we're actually getting into a period where it's interesting to take or look for entry points. So before we're going to continue, do not forget to subscribe beneath, like the YouTube update, also check out my Twitter and Instagram where you can find daily content. I'm getting close towards 500k followers on Twitter, so please follow me there. Would be fun to reach that this week. Also, if you have not seen it yet, I've done a duo live stream or interview with Burp on the Burp's Nest YouTube channel. Was super fun to do. I think we've shared a ton of free alpha there. If you have missed it, please check it on the Burp's Nest YouTube where you can find it, and let me know what you think of it in the comments beneath. Looking at the price action of Bitcoin, we still see that we've had that breakdown after touching 66k, right? So we've had a breakdown of approximately 15% to the lows, which is currently breaking south of the rising wedge, facing crucial support zones, facing some points of interest where you could be looking at potential entry points. And I think William Clemente today said it beautifully. He said, markets have been correcting short term. I'm not too much interested in short term movements, but we could be going towards 51 to 53k still. But in this case, I'm going to start accumulating my position already, which makes a lot of sense because markets usually have those 20 to 30% corrections taking place on the markets. As we've also seen one in September, 25%, two waves. As you can see, also here, two waves, sideways action and then reversal. And actually this corrective period took place for not even little longer than 3 weeks. So if we assume anything like that, we could be saying that after this peak, we're going to bottom out around the beginning of December or somewhere in December. And after that, we can start consolidating or at least start grinding back up again. So those corrective periods that we're seeing here are actually interesting points to start looking for positions. If you don't have any, if you're starting into crypto, this is where you want to get going with the markets. But before that, we're going to look at the dollar. The dollar is currently showing us that we are running upwards with the strength of the dollar while we are facing a resistance point here. So we've had a massive breakout. We've also seen that since the peak high or the bottom of January 2018 until this period, Bitcoin has not been showing too much strength. That's been after the peak high of 2017 with Bitcoin. Could be a correlation with the bear market, but if you go back in history during 2014 and 2016, we've also seen this run up of the dollar. At 2014 to 2015, we've had a bear market on Bitcoin too. After that, consolidative period on the dollar and even a correction or even drop down, which resulted in a big run of Bitcoin to the upside. And we've also seen that since March 2020, the dollar has been dropping swiftly until May, and that has been the run of Bitcoin during this year. After which we are seeing some sideways action and some consolidation on Bitcoin. Heavy correction because the dollar broke out or because the markets were overheated on crypto. And now we see another breakout resulting in a temporary correction of Bitcoin. The dollar is very important to watch. I'm going to address that topic as soon as possible, especially I've been having a call with one of my friends from the stock markets. If you combine this with the yields, you usually get a very high correlation with the Bitcoin movement. So we're going to address the topic of the dollar more often. I've been doing it in the past, have not been checking it lately, should have done it. But what we are seeing here is that we've got a significant breakout of the dollar, resulting in this push. We're currently facing a resistance zone. If we're looking at the daily structure, I think temporarily we are done with the movements of the dollar. We're going to consolidate. What does that tell us? Well, that might say that Bitcoin is currently at a point where we might be seeing some bounces back up, right? So we could be seeing some bounces taking place here because we've just had such a swift move south. Still very cautious because the markets are just not looking too great. Every bounce is being sold off quite fast, and we need to crack some levels in order to get some momentum going. But if the dollar is going to consolidate for a little while, it might give some push towards Bitcoin to retest some levels. Right now, Bitcoin lost this level around 60k for support. So what is the level that it has to break? I think it has to break above 60.5k in order to actually get some momentum going. At this point, we are in this block. We are still at support. We might be facing ourselves a slight relief rally. And the crucial level that I'm looking at in order to get resistance going is that area around 63k. This entire region is crucial if we want to become bullish once again. If we get there, I think it's actually a strong sign. If we get there, the chances that we're going to bottom out around mid 50k to 57k are quite significant. If we're not even able to get a bounce towards 63k and we start falling south, we might even drop all the way towards low 50k or high 40k because the markets are just showing weakness. So at this stage, Bitcoin is facing support here. And then second, it has to break above 60.5k to get this bounce going towards 63. Looking at the lower time frames, not much to say. We clearly have this resistance zone still around 60.5. Have to crack that. Right now it's a little bit of a mess as we're just chopping around. What I'd be looking at is some sort of higher low being confirmed here. And that would result in a breakout of this falling wedge. In which we can make that run happen. But that is just speculation on a very low time frame. I'm just sticking to the levels that are important here, in which I'm definitely saying, okay, if we want to have this bounce towards 63, we're going to have to break 60.5. We're going to have a dollar that has to stabilize for a little bit, and then we are fine. If we're not able to get there, or we reject 60.5 and test support once again, we might be even down for a further corrective move. And especially when we are looking at the weekly, I think we are in for some lower retest if I base it solely on the weekly time frame, in which I think we are in for some retests lower before we're going to continue with this bull cycle. So overall, I'm still assuming that we are into a lengthening cycle and a bull cycle, but we're just resetting indicators at this point. And later today, I'll be discussing whether you should sell your crypto or whether you should not be selling your crypto. We're going to dive into a little bit of on-chain analysis. So that's later today. Definitely do not forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel. Also, another one that has been discussed a lot, which is Litecoin. As you might know, I'm using the 1618 Fibonacci level to derive take profit points. And often it gets hit and then we reverse. We've seen it on Ether. I've seen it on definitely some altcoins like Harmony. Sealer has been a beautiful example, and right now we've got another one when it comes to Litecoin. There's an order block here, so there's a period of time where sellers and buyers are fighting over the price, and it actually stabilizes. It's often a reference point for take profits or reversals of the markets, which we also are seeing on the dollar as a very important resistance point coming up. We've had this beautiful breakout of Litecoin, and then we had that run towards the resistance point here, which is also the 1618 Fibonacci level. I'm often not a huge fan of chasing trades, and I've been covering it on my YouTube channel, in which if you're going to chase that trade, you most likely are a FOMO buyer, and the people that have been buying in this range will be using you as exit liquidity before the market is going to reverse. And especially, you don't have to predict the markets well. You just have to look at previous price action to see where and what is taking place in the markets. In this case, Litecoin has been making those beautiful retests absolutely every time. So if it is taking place, or if we can see such a retest taking place on the markets overall, you can just wait for such a retest to happen once again. You can be waiting for an aggressive approach and look at $230 as the first level, but you can also look at the order block here which is around 200 bucks for the sweet spot to take the entry point from, and then just DCA in this entire region. Your risk reward is way better, because if you get an average price of 218 bucks, your stop loss is beneath here, which is like $27 loss, and your take profits is 381 and 290. Your your risk reward is way better than when you start chasing a trade here, as then your potential loss could be about 90 bucks. Just saying. So definitely Litecoin is getting into a sweet spot here. Litecoin against Bitcoin is also definitely getting into a sweet spot where it's trying to flip a beautiful level. We're going to cover that definitely during this week. So as a conclusion of this video, we might be in for a short-term bounce. I think that if you want to get your positions going, the time for Litecoin, for instance, is happening here. For most of the altcoins, the time is coming close where you want to buy your altcoins, as the biggest alt season of a lifetime is going to take place in Q1 next year. So definitely subscribe to this YouTube channel, check out my Twitter and Instagram. I can see that my updates are getting longer and longer, which is great, which shows that I'm motivated again to be on YouTube. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you again later today with a video on whether you should sell your crypto or not. See you.